Going live. Gotta clean up.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, Chad.
Justin, how's your shower?
I haven't gotten to it yet. This is just oily.
Yeah. Nice.
Shower Justin.
Yeah, last time I was eating cheese and showering.
It's a meta.
I'll do it over here so we don't get too much feedback.
No, I just need them.
Okay, that works. All right. So, I'm in GitHub. I'm on Sprint 1. Cameron is currently working on the Explore page after being sick for a lot of the week. But we're making some good progress. We stole the design from the existing Cities of Belonging site just as kind of a jumping off point using some sweet program called Paparazzi. It lets you basically screenshot everything and turn it into Illustrator objects instantly. And then you can go around and hack on it. So we're making good progress. Justin, what about these other things? What should we change? What should we move over? What do you need to get these 4 things done? You're muted.
Just a moment. I need to pull it up.
Cool, cool.
We need to make that link more visible. All right, 1 to 2.
Which link needs to be more visible?
The roadmap.
I
It was slow to find.
CSAcampus.org. It's new.
Yeah, that's where I need to just start going by. I go to the read repo.
But yeah, we also just want to look at the outstanding issues for Sprint 1 on the repo.
Oh, yeah. Let me go to that too.
Put that link in Gitter.
Okay. Not much needs to really. Well, okay, so I can close the one. The code chip one. It's just not possible.
Which one?
It is, but it's
Number
more
20.
worth.
CodeChip is building on pushes to GH Pages branch.
Yeah. So that's closed.
They're just going to have 1,000 builds whenever we tweak the docs.
Yeah, that's a little annoying, but we can set it up so that we look at what branch is being run and not run as tests, but it'll still run a build, so it's not really worth it.
We could also move that out, move the GH pages out to its own repo.
Yeah.
Instead of having it as a branch.
We could, yeah. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
I seem to have stopped getting notifications for it at least, so I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
We did have a separate repo, CAC Docs, that's on the Saxifrage organization, which is where I built the new Jekyll site before I moved it over. But we could move it back if we want.
Nah, it's not worth it.
All right. Issue solved.
Yep. Yeah, and the other stuff I just need a little bit of time on today. I had a busy week.
Tim, could you do me a favor and post the link to this video on YouTube? Sorry to interrupt. I just want to cross-link some things, and I can't see that I can get that. Do you have it, Tim? If you started the video?
You want the link to the video that we're in right now?
Well, the YouTube page for the video. The archive link.
When it's done, or right now?
Right now.
Okay. The event page?
The YouTube.
Oh, here, I see it.
Links.
Yeah, I see it.
Bottom right. Yeah, just paste that in the chat on the side. Would be great. Thank you. Sorry.
Got it. Cool. All right, Justin. So, just more time on these things here.
Yeah, they're all really simple things. So.
Okay. Cool. So you think you'll be able to get these all done today? Did you have any thoughts or questions about the sort of updated data model? Did you look at it at all?
No, I think it's fine. It just needs to be accounted for. That's all.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's move all of these over to Sprint 2. And then let's take a look at the roadmap and pick out what else we should work on this week. And I'm hoping that now that Cameron's back, and Justin, it sounds like you have a little more time this week, I'm hoping we can get lots of things done and actually have something cool to look at and share with my boss next Friday.
Yeah.
He doesn't really care, actually. I just want to make some good progress.
I have something cool and exciting to share.
What's that?
We have virtual hosting.
We have virtual hosting?
Yeah, I was just looking at that this morning.
Okay, what does that entail?
Well, PR 74, when I just started here.
Great thing before.
Let's see. And
It only goes to 73.
I just pasted a link in here.
Nice.
So I did, yeah, I managed to get, I suppose this is a minimum viable product for this issue. I figured out how to route different domains to my development environment and then vary which, filter the list of opportunities based on part of the host name, part of the host domain.
What rules? Cool. So we'll be able to basically take this functionality and apply it to public domains at some point?
It looks like it's not handled in the app at all.
Yeah, so maybe we could talk about the design requirements for this and understand exactly what to do. What do you mean it's not handled in the app, Justin?
You didn't make any changes to app code to make that happen. It looks like it was all configuration on your machine.
No, there should be a PR there.
Oh, yeah, request host split. I see.
I mean,
Okay.
it's obviously very naive. I just did this in the past hour, and I'm learning Rails.
Okay. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. Right. So I think because we started with the idea of influencing the routes, routing things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure that that's actually what we want to do. I think we want to route to the same, the same controllers, regardless of host name coming in. Or well, maybe this is what we need to think about, right? Do we actually need to route to different controllers for these, or are we doing like I did on this PR, where it's going to the same controller, but we're just filtering differently, or we're maybe theming it differently. I don't know. We just need to put a little more thought into it. The basics are, I guess, my task this past week was to spike this out, So I'm pretty confident now that we can do it. Tim, that was the question I had last week: is how hard is it to do? What does Rails give us? And the answer is, plenty. It looks like we should be able to do whatever we need to do as far as this stuff goes.
Yeah.
So now, so it's safe to proceed down this road. So let's figure out, what exactly we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you proved that it's possible. I think we just need to handle that in the routes file. I think that's where all the routing logic should live. It shouldn't be that low level in the controller. We should be able to use that controller at slash organization, the same as through organization dot. So
Organization dot.
yeah,
What the subdomain.
that controller should be able to handle both of those. And the way it is right now, it only handles the organization dot. So I think if we do it in the controller, and that's where we parse out the organization ID, that would make it better overall.
Okay. I'd like to see or understand more specifically what the design requirement is. I know this is stuff we've talked about and put up on whiteboards.
Yeah.
Um,
So basically, my thought for the CNAME functionality to get at the organization pages was that we, on our sort of universal site, cityascampus.org, whatever it is, we are hosting all these organization pages. Those pages have at the top the organization sort of nav bar and title and description, and then below that they have our entire Explorer functionality, but just filtered to that single organization's events. The way that we had talked about it was that that functionality would be pulled into the view by pointing at our own API. And then the CNAME idea was basically just taking that exact page, but making it show up at learn.carnegielibrary.org.
So it's possible that we could solve this not even on the Ruby side, but on the JavaScript side, on the client side.
Yeah.
Except for the theming, right? There's two things going on here. There's the filtering of data, and then there's the theming of it. Depending on how complex we want to get with the theming, we could.
By theming, you mean
is that just a logo? Is that how much control are we giving people over the CNAMEs? The theming doesn't apply to slash, right? The theming doesn't apply to slash assemble. It applies to assemble dot. But as far as the filtering goes, we could just handle that entirely client side and not have to worry about that server side at all, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. Justin?
Kind of. I think that we would want to send, if we're going to do it client side, we'd want to send less information so that we're not kind of wasting utility and sending over like the whole page when we're not going to use a lot of it. So it would probably hit a different route or something like that.
Yeah, I think instead of pointing to the endpoint for all events, it would point to an endpoint that was, org ID / all events.
Or just have one, or just events.json with an org ID.
Yeah.
And a string, right?
Yeah, just one JSON, yeah.
And that events JSON would serve all three cases, right?
That makes most sense. But I realized like midway through this conversation that we probably shouldn't even worry about this like right now. We should worry about making the app work with some data that we have, and like just going through a normal flow with the app, like using just our app, not integrated with anything else right now, because we need to perfect that before we can even embed it in some other site.
Okay. What should we do to make that happen?
You and Cam crunch out that UI a little bit. We get pages in the right place, and we get some fake data in there to kind of see what it looks like and see where any flaws are in our workflow.
All right. Can we create some issues for that?
Yeah, what do we need to do? Like come up with the ideal user stories, or are those already created somewhere?
Which type of user? We got two types. We've got learners and we have organizers.
Both.
Okay. Yeah, I could sketch out a couple of different user stories if that's helpful.
Yeah, I think getting those nailed down and tested in the app would be really useful before we try to embed, because we need to make sure that an organizer can post an event in the app before, not exporting, but
Yeah.
using the app to host the content on their own site.
Oh, sure. Definitely. But we can start to build out the functionality, by letting ourselves input data into a form that gets processed through and spit out in that, event ID/events.json.
Yeah, but I mean that's going to be almost built into Rails. It's not going to be a lot until we have something that can use it. It's not going to make a lot of sense.
Well, our own site could use it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
That was the initial idea Chad and I had talked about, is that our own Explore page would use the events.json as the data source.
Okay.
So I think we should focus on the home page, on the top level Explore page.
Yeah.
Justin's already got the basic, CRUD interfaces wired up, so we can get data into the system. We have it,
Yeah.
We have that there. Let's get an events JSON going to get events out as JSON, and then let's get that homepage Explore page going that consumes events JSON.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like the two next things we need to work on?
Yeah. So if you could get the events.json to be served up, then we just need a way to pull it into the view. I know that Matthew was doing some work on the Angular stuff in terms of creating some data binding models for something.
Mm-hmm.
So we could direct him to do that for the JSON files.
Okay, so let's move these tickets over. There's still two more tickets on 1. I'm going to bump those to 2 just because 1 is done here. I'm going to close 1. 7 tickets, so that's our velocity. Let's see on 2 then. Wrap API endpoints. Okay, we have 13 tickets open on 2. Installation instructions. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. What do we want? So let's focus on sprint 2 here and trim this down to half a dozen tickets. that actually move us to where we want to be next week. So next week, I mean, ideally next week we have an explore page at the root, that consumes an events.json, right? So we can use the even the unstyled forms we've got now to add data. Presumably there's some, if we want to bulk add test data, maybe that would be something to work on. Justin, have you have experience with those kind of tools in Rails, filling a database with test data?
Say that again. It was kind of mumbly.
Sorry. Do you have experience with Rails tools to fill a database with test data?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's. Oh, do you mean so? What? And do you mean a test environment, or do you mean just like in the dev environment, or like in a test suite?
In other words, we don't want to focus. We want to give, what we need is we need data in the database that served up on events.json. That we've got some JavaScript code to consume and stick into a UI that Cam's going to put together, right? Like those are our 4 pieces that we need. So let's find a tool to pump tons of data into development test database. So we're not creating it by hand, right?
There are events.json files, not empty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to pre-populate with dummy data. So it seems
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have a seed file that we use.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. There's a ticket where Matthew and I discussed it.
We find that and put it on Sprint 2. So I'm dropping the CNAME thing from Sprint 2. I'm not assigning it to another sprint at this point.
I'll try to find.
The seed data conversation, I think, is on a closed issue because that was concerning just the list of topics.
I'm closing the installation instructions door.
Oh no, that's not. It's on issue 30. I'll paste that somewhere.
Okay, so it's been discussed. We just need to get it. Get it going. I'll create an issue for populating the database with seed.
Okay. We've got a ticket here. I just renamed it to implement events.json. Number 62.
Okay.
Add category data type to organizer object. I don't think that's. Sorry, let's go through these in order and decide if they're in scope for this MVP we want next week of filtering interface. Sketch data model for organizer users. Sketch data model.
Yeah, I'll work on both of those because those need to be done before the following week, so that you can start building on the Explore page and creating organizer accounts to manipulate it.
Okay, so we're going to keep those for this week.
I'll keep those.
Platform variables file.
I think that should be done like as soon as possible. So whenever Cameron is writing CSS and whatever for the design, the hope is that he's using global variables to refer to colors and everything that someone might need to change. The inspiration for that would be like the config.yml file in the Jekyll.
That's right. Okay.
Um,
How about the wrapping API endpoints with JavaScript is the JavaScript layer. I'm just rename this one to implement events. JSON is the JSON layer. You made a ticket for just now for you said for dummy data, right, Tim?
yeah, I'm making it right now.
Okay.
Add seed assigned to Justin.
Design and implement layout for topic pages. We can bump that if we're going to focus on Explore page. Sound right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just a general note about that. It's all going to kind of come at once.
Right.
So I totally understand wanting to adhere just for visibility to the issues, but there's going to be some flex there. So as a group, let's not get super stressed about it right now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move it off the sprint milestone just to keep the.
Yeah, sure. But just as a general note. Cool.
Revised data model to reflect JSON LD.
That was a holdover from the last sprint. That's just basically updating the data model based on my new revised version. So there's different objects and types in there.
Okay. Is that critical for getting an Explore page up next week?
Definitely.
It is?
Yeah, I think so, because the initial data set was pretty limited. But there are some types in there that we might need in order to populate the view.
Okay. All right.
Is this event paid or free? That are part of the design that Cam's working on for the different event cards.
And pair data types with City of Learning data types. Is that part of the same work?
That could be pushed. That could be pushed to 3 as well.
Okay.
But that one is important.
Okay. All right. So we're down to 8 open tickets for next week.
Justin, the thing that you were mentioning with the controller issue, in terms of the CNAME stuff, should that be an issue?
I don't think we need to focus on that for this week if we're not knowing about CNAMEs, right? Justin, is that what you were suggesting?
That should be a future sprint. That should not be this week.
Okay.
Cool. So who's doing what? So Justin, you know what you're doing with the seed data. I can look at the. I don't want to make promises. I'm trying to think about availability. Maybe we could talk about that. What is our expected availability this week? Who's able to work on what?
Mine is Infinity.
Infinite. Cam and Justin, what do your weeks look like?
Going forward, I or somebody from my team will be on this on average probably about 10 hours a week.
10 hours a week?
That's about the same for me.
Okay. I'm going to be on this a lot less. My ideal is to, and actually next Friday, I'm committed to something else. So I don't think that I should promise anything for this week, and I won't be here next Friday.
Chad is traveling.
Matt is?
Chad, you are traveling. No.
I'm actually not traveling. I'm missing a trip to Montreal because I've got a family commitment here next week.
Chad, if you did want to help us something this week, maybe you could just dialogue with Matthew a little bit on the stuff that he's working on. Because that is important to get to our goal by Friday. So if Cameron Explore design happen, Justin, fills up the database with seed data, gets it to spit out in events.json, then Matthew will wrap it in JavaScript that Cameron can put into the view, and then we'll have a thing. So if you wanted to, I don't know, at least check in with Matthew
on number 65.
on number for, yeah, 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right. We got a sprint.
Sound good, Justin? All right. Cam and I are going to keep working on this design and making it awesome. And you give us a JSON file with sweet data binding to put right into our view.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There might already be something if you just hit a certain endpoint. I'll check on that.
Okay.
I think there is. I don't think it's. It's not it's not a global one. It's like It's @ organizations / opportunities or something like that, which may be fine. It may be fun. Anyway, sorry.
I'm going to add one more issue for you, Justin.
Hey, Tim, if you just go to /opportunities/1.json, it'll work. So it's already spitting out JSON.
Cool. So they can use that to start tinkering around on 65, wrapping the API endpoints.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It needs to be updated for different data fields, but a lot of what you want is there, so that should give you at least. I mean, you're going to hit the same endpoint and going to use a lot of the same fields, so you can just use that for now.
Do we have a path that refers to organizers / organizer ID / opportunities? Or opportunities.json, since we said it should be one file.
Opportunities JSON is a thing, yeah. So is organizers.json. Oh, I still have it called organizations on mine.
But we don't have organizer ID or any of that yet.
Sure we do.
Really?
Yeah.
So I can do organizers /2 / opportunities.json.
No, I don't think so. I can get that in pretty easily though. Yeah, there's no route for that yet, but
I think that's the route that we want
okay.
for the endpoint. Well, I mean, we want both.
Yeah, I'll add those routes.
Cool.
Someone has the ticket screen up or issue screen up. Could you maybe add a Chad?
Yo.
You got an issue for creating routes or organization opportunities?
Yeah, that's on the milestone at 62.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's in there. All right. Cool. Thanks, everybody. Let's have an awesome Explore page by Friday. It'd be cool, Justin, if you wanted to kind of front load the work so that Cam could have a couple days to actually put the data into the view before next Friday. So maybe on our call next week we actually have something to look at that works. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Tim. Bye, Justin. Bye, Cam.
You too.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.